So tell me again, please, what's your latest project? What did you do?
My latest project is called Saturn Rising. It's a story of this young woman who finds out she's pregnant and what the rest of her day is like after she gets that news.
Why did you make a movie about that?
I had a vision about this scenario when I was driving down Fulton Street in San Francisco. I felt like I went through this energetic force field, and the person I was with, I told him, I said, hey, something just happened there, and it was, I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I know it's something. Maybe 3 or 4 days after that, I woke up in the middle of the night, like, literally like, you know, and then I went and wrote my stuff down. I think the story is really interesting to me because it's very simple, you know, finding out a girl finds out she's pregnant and then what the rest of her day is like. But I think when you watch it, you'll realize it's pretty complex, and it becomes more complex on repeated viewings, you know. Like the second time you watch it after you have listened to the story, I feel like you see a lot of things you didn't see before, you know. You can pay attention to the subtleties of what's going on. Up until this point, I've only really focused on like singular romantic relationships in the sense that you have a guy and a girl. But for my next project, I'm really excited about maybe having like 6 or so main characters, because then, you know, you have infinitely more relationships. You know, you have like Tom's relationship to Sarah and Sarah's relationship to Tom, but you also have Tom's relationship to Nick and Nick's relationship to Sarah, you know, and so on and so forth. So I think people interact differently and bring out different parts of the personality, and it's really interesting to explore those things. All of these stories take place in San Francisco in different neighborhoods that are very specific. Like Saturn Rising takes place in the Lower Haight and the Visadero area, and it all takes place in like a, you know, 5 or 6 block radius, and you would know that if you lived there. You would say, hey, you know, I go to that convenience store to buy bread or something like that. So it's fun. I mean, up until this point, I've acted in all the films that I've done, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep doing that. I really enjoy acting, and you know, you get to see yourself in a different light when you're watching yourself on screen. You know, mannerisms that you do are, you know, ways you talk or ways you breathe or ways you interact with people. You know, you gain a different type of perspective. But a friend of mine, Brandon Stanton, who does Humans in New York, great photographer, was telling me he wanted to see me try to channel that energy through other forms. And I'm still not 100% sure what that means. I feel like maybe I'm 90% sure, but the idea is very interesting to me, so I think I'm gonna try that.
Okay, Gary, what inspired you to become a filmmaker? Why are you a filmmaker?
I think filmmaking in this time is the best way to communicate ideas, and for me that's what films are about, and that's what art is about in general. And I really enjoy, you know, photography and writing and acting and all of these things and music that come together to make a film, but it's a more comprehensive way to convey information. They always say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I think that's true, and I think a moving image is maybe worth, you know, 1,000 pictures, you know, maybe 24 pictures per second. I remember when I was a little kid, I went to go see the movie Glory. This movie about this all-black regiment in the Civil War, and I think I was too young to really understand everything that movie was trying to convey, but I remember at the end of it, you know, I just was crying uncontrollably. I was like 10 or so, or 11, and it just, you know, it really emotionally overwhelmed me. And when I walked out of the theater, I was just like, you know, I had to try and process that feeling. And then ever since then, I've just been addicted to going to the movies.
Is there something you, like a message, like something you really want to give to people with your work? You know, inspiration or the feeling of love, or what is it?
Definitely. I think my work in general is trying to convey the concept of energy very clearly. The energy that exists between people. especially this last film, there's not a lot of dialogue. So, you know, somebody may say something and then you kind of feel the reverberation of like what someone said and the way that colors their world and the way that affects things. My films are very much about perspective, and perspective is very important. So a lot of stories are told through like the hero or heroine's perspective, and you kind of are with them on their journey. My films are more from a like third-party observer perspective. So you're watching the characters. So a lot of times you may know what's going on and they don't. You know, so it's not like I'm trying to trick you, like, you know, maybe like a surprise twist movie like an M. Night Shyamalan. It's like things are a surprise to them. So when they finally understand things that, you know, maybe weren't the way they thought, you know, it's very cathartic for them and for you, because you're like, hey, you know, you finally got it. Like, I could see it the whole time. It's just like when your friend is in a bad relationship and they're telling you about this terrible person they're dating, and it seems very clear to you that they're not making you happy, right? But to them, it's not so clear. So I think this film allows you to take a step back and see things from a different perspective, you know, at the world at large, and hopefully in your own life, so you can say, oh, I hear what I'm saying, like, you know, maybe I should make different choices about what I want to do with my life.